Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video I wanted to do something that was all about the second trimester, so like how to survive the second trimester, some tips and tricks that I sort of learnt along the way, maybe some things that I didn't know. I didn't think there was much going into the second trimester that would really happen, and there are still changes that happen to your body. So I thought it would be good just to like sort of document them and how I got through, let's say, the second trimester. I'm currently just about still in it, but I'm right at the very end of the second trimester, so I feel like unless something major happens in the next week, I'm kind of almost edging into the third trimester, and therefore this is a good time to make this video. I've made a few notes. It'd be really interesting to see what your thoughts are below as well, because I'd be quite interested to see if you have like any other tips and tricks or anything else that happened to you in the second trimester that you weren't expecting, because I know that lots of different things happen to lots of different people. I have a friend who's currently pregnant and is experiencing very, very different things to what I am pregnancy wise, so it's just interesting. So let me know down below. So I've written a few things down on my phone, so I'm just going to go through them. So the first thing that I learned is that Reni is your best friend in the second trimester, and probably in the third as well. I was expecting some kind of heartburn or something throughout the time because everything is getting moved up to make room for the baby, and you know, it's just one of those things you hear about all the time when it comes to pregnancy, that the heartburn is going to happen and whatever. So yeah, so I knew that Reni would come in handy. For me, it's just been the only thing that has gotten me through the second trimester, and it's probably going to continue and probably get a bit worse in the third trimester. I have gone through packets of the stuff. I'm going to go out and buy one of the bottles of like the liquid Reni or Gaviscon or whatever, because it's so bad. And I've currently got a whole packet of them right by my bed. I think my problem is I've always been a late eater, and also with cravings I've eaten quite a lot, so it's really hard because I want to eat all the time because I'm pregnant, but it means that I've always got heartburn, so the foods that I eat are heartburn inducing, so there we go. So stock up on Reni, because it's only going to get worse. Second thing is, indulge in a few maternity items. You deserve it. I felt like I didn't want to waste money, and I haven't bought too many maternity things, but particularly jeans. Like most other things like t-shirts and dresses and that, you can just buy them oversized and buy the stretchy kind of ones and you're okay. But I definitely buy some maternity jeans or bottom halves or shorts or whatever you need for wherever you live, and bras, because those are things that you just can't squeeze into. Just like, yeah, you just can't continue to squeeze into them, and it just makes you feel uncomfortable and just not good. And I think that you're growing a baby, you deserve it. Next big tip for me was get a fan, or get 2 fans. You know, I've got a little one as well that I've had just on my feet in the living room. If you're having a baby in the summertime, or you're going to be in your second or third trimester throughout the summer, which is me for both, I'll both be in my second and third trimester, get fans, get things to keep you cool. I love heat and summer and warm weather so much. But already we've only had a few nice days in England of nice weather. It's currently really nice today, and I am dying. Like, I don't want to be in the sun. I feel hot, I get swollen when I'm in the sun, and now I'm not even in the third trimester. Now I understand what women are talking about when they say they don't want to be pregnant throughout the summertime. So yeah, invest in like cool things, and with that, like flowy, easy to throw on clothes. Like this has been one of my staples. It's just like a simple basic stretchy dress, and it's not maternity, I just bought it too big, which is perfect. But just get things that don't make you feel uncomfortable when you're wearing them. Get some slip-on shoes. Again, I think it's one of those things where people tell you that the second trimester is going to be this like amazing honeymoon kind of stage of your pregnancy. While it is to some degree, it's also kind of not. You're still pregnant, you're still growing a baby. The baby goes from relatively small at 12 weeks to like 27, 28 weeks. He or she is quite big, so there's like quite a significant difference, and so you're still growing something, and things start to get a bit swollen, especially when you're in hot weather. My feet were really swollen. I didn't really realise until I got some just cheap sliders. I spent £5 on some sliders. Best decision I ever made. I'm going to go and buy another pair, and that is all I'm going to live in this summer, because you don't have to bend down to put your shoes on. That kind of goes hand in hand with it. Like shoes that are easy to put on without having to squeeze your stomach area because I would say this is more of a third trimester issue, I think, for me personally, but I have noticed that it's starting to become more difficult to do things further down, like paint my toenails, or which I really am not going to be able to do for too much longer, but paint my toenails, put on intricate strappy sandal things. So this next one kind of comes along with the whole people telling you it's going to be the honeymoon kind of stage, and maybe it's not quite for everyone. Like, be okay with the fact that you might not feel amazing throughout because you are still pregnant, and that you can't just do everything. So my problem was I felt better physically in terms of I wasn't feeling so sick. And mentally I was feeling better. I wasn't as tired. I feel much better in myself. So then I started doing more things, overexerting myself, and then having to sleep forever afterwards, or feeling achy or whatever. Like, be okay with the fact that you are pregnant. This is only a short period of time in the grand scheme of things. And if you don't feel perfect every day, that's okay, you're pregnant. Next tip, or something that I didn't know, because people don't talk that openly about lots of the intimate parts of pregnancy because it's uncomfortable for them or whatever. I've never felt weird about talking about things openly, to be honest. I've been very honest with lots of women in my sort of real life about pregnancy and the things that do happen to your body, because I think going in not knowing, or going in with a bit of knowledge, is just a bit nicer. You feel a bit more prepared, and you just kind of know these things are going to happen. I'm not telling every woman that about every single ache and pain I'm getting, but like certain intimate things that may or may not happen to your body. I just think I'd rather be honest with people. I used to ask pregnant women all the time, like friends and family, close people to me, like about all the ins and outs, and still they don't tell you everything. I would say get panty liners or whatever, because a lot more comes out when you're pregnant. For most women, this isn't the case for everyone. Certainly for me, your body's working extra hard to make sure that that baby stays safe and protected and, you know, free of potential harm, germs and all those sorts of things. So you're a bit more active down there because your body's keeping everything clean and safe for the baby. So it's perfectly normal. Just invest in maybe some panty liners, because there have been a few occasions where I almost feel like I've wet myself. I'll be honest. On that note, an even stranger one, and this doesn't happen to everyone, but for me in my second trimester, I guess my body got really active. You might even need to invest in breast pads. Nobody ever mentioned about needing breast pads. I don't think anyone ever really mentioned to me that your breasts might get leaky before you give birth. And like before pregnancy, I just thought you get your colostrum when your baby's born and then your milk comes in, and that's how it is. Not true. So mine have been pretty active for most of the second trimester. Some women don't get this at all. Some women don't get it till the third trimester. But for those of you girls who have very active, I guess, boobs. Yeah, for those of you girls who have, active boobs, maybe you want to get some breast pads. For me, there's been some leakage, but it's manageable. I haven't invested in any just yet because I actually want to get some disposable ones, so I think they'd be really ideal, but I just haven't invested in any yet because it hasn't been a huge issue. I have bras, meaning that I can like switch them out, obviously. So but there can be some active movement there. For those of you who don't get it in the second trimester or whatever, or don't have any leakage at all, it actually doesn't affect how much milk you might produce when your baby's born at all. It's just some women have slightly more hormones, I guess, or slightly more, I don't really know the science of it, so I won't pretend I do, but I just think it just happens to some women, it doesn't happen to others. The next one is one that I didn't think I'd be bothered about, and I'm not hugely bothered about it, and I've been quite lucky because I haven't had too many people do this, but I do know that this is a big thing for pregnant women. Be okay with telling people that, like, no for things. Like, if you don't want your bump touched, it's okay to tell people that you don't want your bump touched. It's a really, I never did this to people, not even like my sister without even asking, but it's a very weird thing that people think that the second you're pregnant that bump almost isn't part of your body. It's just like it's the baby's, but it's still your body. And if you don't want people to be like touching and grabbing all over you, and then it's okay to be like, oh, not really, or whatever. And it's okay to tell people before that awkward conversation. Like, you can bring it up in, I've brought it up to family members in ways where it wasn't necessarily about me as such, or directed to them and me, or whatever. I'm quite relaxed with my family members, but I've just made points of, I find it a bit odd that people want to jump in. The next one again goes with the whole people saying this is going to be like the honeymoon period and you're going to feel amazing and the best you've ever felt and all those sorts of things. Take naps if you can. I know this is really, really hard for a lot of people. I work full-time. Also, I'm studying as well, part-time. And we have quite a busy schedule with like other small children in our family, like babysitting and all those sorts of things. So we have a very busy life. But in the times where, you know, I've got an hour in the, even if it's in the evening and I want to have a half an hour nap, I just let my boyfriend know and tell him to wake me up in half an hour or an hour maximum, but don't let me sleep too much longer because it will ruin my sleep schedule for the evening. Or on a Sunday, if I want to have a lazy day, like I don't feel guilty for it. Before, I'd always want to be active, and I still do now. Like I'm filming and working and studying, and I can't just switch off and do nothing. But also, most of the day I've been sat in here, staying cool, watching RuPaul's Drag Race. And that's totally okay. Like, take naps if you can, or not even naps, just sit downs and rest, and milk the fact that people like want to help you when you're pregnant and want to give you a bit, you know, let you relax, and they want to do stuff for you. I really struggled to begin with, and throughout the beginning of my second trimester, especially when I was starting to feel better, but I look physically pregnant now because, you know, I've got a bump now that people can see. So people are saying to me that I can't do so much because I'm looking pregnant and I'm further along in the pregnancy. I really struggled to like let go of the control of like being able to do everything and being a strong independent woman and all that, but like milk it, because this time won't be here for long, and before you know it, you'll be back to having to do everything yourself with a baby. So if you can fit in naps or 5-minute sit downs or whatever, don't feel guilty about it. And last but not least, this one I knew about, but this is just like my little tip, I guess. Probably not the best tip, but do you know what? I'm an honest woman. Pregnancy cravings are intense, but you should enjoy them. You should make the most of the fact that you can get away with saying you want a McFlurry or, you know, 3 different types of drinks at a place because your body wants all 3 of them. Even if it's not really a craving, you can kind of get away with it because you're pregnant. It's not like I haven't been the healthiest, and yes, it's most important that the baby is healthy and I'm healthy. I still get the nutrients that I need, and she is a really healthy, happy baby. But pregnancy cravings are fun, annoying and intense, but also just enjoy it. If they're weird, unless you're eating like, I don't know, eating the sofa, that's a problem that you should see a doctor about, but other than that, just enjoy it. Make the most of it. Make the most of getting your partner to have to go to the shops for you, to buy you your very specific needs before you break down into an emotional wreck, is all I will say. I did feel guilty about it. I did feel a bit guilty that I'm not this slim, gorgeous supermodel throughout my pregnancy, and I feel a bit like a whale. But you know what? It's 9 months of my life. She's healthy and happy. I'm 90% healthy and happy with a little bit extra sugar on top. And yeah, that's it really. That's it for this video on my top sort of 10 tips and tricks, or how to survive the second trimester, all that fun stuff. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Leave me some comments down below on your little tips and tricks or things that you learnt throughout the second trimester, or just how you're doing. And I will speak to you in my next video. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.